So, hello. Today is going to talk about the October astrology. There are many things happening on October, and it's the start of the eclipse season. So this means big changes, etc., and lots of things going on, lots of development, and will probably continue right up until the end of the year. So this is big, major stuff. So to start with, I chose an oracle card from Kyle Gray's Activation of Light Oracle, and this was the one I chose for this reading. It's the I Am Presence. So this is talking about that you're accessing the divine within yourself. There's an activation within you and finding out who you are and where you are and what's moving through you at this particular point. And there's certainly a lot of energies in this month of October that are going to support you in that process. We have, a new moon eclipse in Scorpio at the end of the month, and we have the sun moving into Scorpio as well. So these, Scorpio and Platonic energy is very much taking us to the deepest parts of ourselves and actually really and truly helping us transform who and what we are. So this is a very deep transformational time. So this card is probably very appropriate for those of you who are watching, because it's very much, when we make those huge transitions and transformations in our lives, that's when we access who we are and we do access the divine within us. Because one of the things about that Platonic energy is that it's a bit like the Tower card in the tarot. It's like what it does is it throws everything out that is not authentic, that is not us, that doesn't need to stay with us, and leaves us at the very core with who and what we need and who we are. And that is the divine within ourselves, that divine unique spark that is the essence of who we are, and also is very important in terms of our purpose as well. So without further ado, I'm going to just have a chat about some of the main energies coming in at the moment. So we've had a lot of planets in retrograde, which means that they've been in a place where they've been reviewing and reflecting, etc. And one of the first planets to come out of retrograde is actually Mercury. So Mercury is about communication, new information. It's basically about looking at ideas and plans, etc. So it's been retrograde, so it's meant that basically we've been reviewing and rethinking a lot of things for ourselves. But when it goes direct on the 2nd of October, it's actually time to bring in new information, new curiosity, a new perspective. And so it also, at this time, it goes direct in Virgo. So one of the real strengths about Virgo is that Virgo is very, very good at investigating the details. Virgo is very analytical, likes to get into the nitty-gritty of things, and really likes to come out and be, clear about what it is, that it's basically looking into. So it brings forward what is, basically a real reality check, that makes us look at the details of what's going on, and, make sure that what we're doing is going to actually work for us, which is really, really important. So, but it also brings new solutions, etc., as well, and new opportunities, and so that you can move on now. And it's a great time for communication, travel, technology. Good time if you finally want to basically sign some documents, because it's direct, and so there's no cause for concern around what's going on. Now, on the 9th of October, Pluto in Capricorn goes direct. So this is really important. So we're getting rid here of, because it's Pluto, of things, that don't serve us. Getting rid of things that no longer work for us. There's lots of endings, which is really, really important. We've basically done the work here in terms of really looking at what's going on. And Capricorn is about stability, commitment, security, making things tangible and real, and putting our plans into action. So we've done all those things. And so it's now going direct. We've done the review, so now it's going direct. So it's time for new commitments, new leveling up, and lots of self-transformation. On the 10th, we have a full moon in Aries, and, this is the end of the cycle. And Aries is the beginning of the zodiac, obviously. So with Aries, there could be lots of emotions going on, lots of things maybe coming to the fore. Sometimes that's not an unhelpful thing, because sometimes some of those things may have needed to come to the fore. Maybe they've been bubbling away and suddenly there's an emotional explosion. So basically, it's a good time to, move forward on a range of things. And we could be feeling a bit more emotional, but maybe that's a positive thing in terms of where we're at as well. But I suppose one of the things we need to do is that we need to look at where we're moving forward on things and celebrate our successes, and actually move forward and really, really go forward with that same warrior, fire, passionate energy that is very much a part of Aries. So that's really, really important. And it's a good time for, basically meditating, calming ourselves, making new plans, doing things that we need to do. So on the 10th, Mercury's in Libra. So this is a good time for planning for big goals, things for, for the future. So there's lots of conversations. There's a lot of mental energy here, lots of new ideas and things opening up. And with it being Mercury being in Libra, there could also be new partnerships, new things are coming together. Saturn then on the same day makes its final square. Saturn's at 18 of Aquarius, its final square with Uranus at 18 of Taurus. And it'll sit there until the first, where it's been for the first half, since the first half of October, and the planets have been retrograde. So Saturn here is asking you to dig deep and look at a new commitment, what you need for the long term, and could it be something that you're seeing with your third eye? It could be energies coming in, showing you what in the physical world that you need clarity about. And so this becomes really strong because Saturn brings that inner knowingness that you can trust that you're moving forward in a really positive way. And the universe is saying to you, you're really worth this. Get rid of the barriers, etc., and just move forward. Now, Uranus actually here, even though it's a square, and generally squares mean there's conflict and tension, Uranus strengthens for us that sense of what's true for us, what's authentic, what do we want next, what do we want in terms of moving into new timelines and new chapters. Uranus is the rebel, so it likes to shake stuff up, and there could be a new beginning that actually also moves forward. Uranus also brings the galactic energy, and it brings shifts in timelines and evolution as well. So there could be some movement there for you in all of those areas, and things starting to play out now, which is really, really important. And as I said at the beginning of this, as we're moving into that eclipse season, this is a time of big change and big transformation. So that's really, really important. On the 23rd, Saturn and Aquarius goes direct. It's been retrograde. And so it teaches us more about responsibility, commitment, overcoming our limits. It's bringing our attention to where we're going and what's important to keep in mind, etc. It's good for the global community. And it's also important because it brings about parts of ourselves or our lives where maybe we're stagnant, we've been settling. Maybe we just said we're not going to move forward, but now it's saying let's get moving, let's move forward. With it being going direct in Aquarius, it could be also a time when we have new inventive ideas, new authentic things, or original ideas that are coming forward that we hadn't really looked at before. And we're looking at things from a different level of consciousness. And so we can now start to bring that into our own sense of self and where we're moving forward. And we're starting to be very empowered, and we can start to make changes that are really, really positive. Because Saturn is very, very good at moving things forward, and making us, helping us, meet our commitments. So on the 23rd, Venus moves into Scorpio and reconnects. It's a very intense place for Venus to be. So there might be new relationships here, but very intense relationships. There could be strong intuition. Your emotions, because Scorpio is such a deep, deep planet connected to Pluto, your emotions could run very, very deep. You also, with Scorpio also brings in a lot of intuition and psychic ability too. So you could be really good at this point and really just sussing out where other people are at and what they're on about as well. And being really careful about who you trust, who you don't trust, who's basically got your back and who hasn't, and so you're really looking at people in terms of people in your inner circle, in your inner life, and your inner relationship, and really thinking about what's the most fruitful, what's the most helpful, what's going to help me move forward in myself. Also on the 23rd, the sun moves into Scorpio. So basically, Scorpio is a very deep and intense energy. It's a relationship, it's a partnership energy too, even though it's different to Libra in that it's not a partnership as in your romantic partnerships, but it can be about our business partnerships and our more deep, our financial partnerships, and those partnerships that are really, really key to us. And so there might be that, this might be a time when you're highly sensitive, you might be very intuitive, things might be coming together with you. You also, there's a real sense to be recognized, to shine in this place too, because it's the sun, and because it's Scorpio, it's about transforming. So, it's basically about going into a place where you're basically transforming and having this deep metamorphosis where you come into more of who you are and what you want to be. So this is a very powerful time. Then on the 25th, we have the new moon solar eclipse in Scorpio. And this is a time of really real intensity, can be a time of rebirth, a time when you look at where do I need to grow. It can be a time that you start to really and truly work your magic, or even see and understand that you're actually really, really magical. There could be a time of a lot of soul growth as well, because there is that deep transformation as well. And that you might be birthing and opening a part of yourself that's really, really key. There could also be some big shifts in relationships where you move more deeply and intently into some sort of relationship or part of a relationship. And there can be a lot of healing as well. And this new moon in Scorpio is actually conjunct Venus. So there's possibly a change here around our value system in terms of, you know, what we believe, what we think is important, but also in terms of our personal relationships and how we work together with other people. And there could be, you know, a reassessment in relation to issues around intimacy, control, power, money. Scorpio is often about power and control. So there could be issues coming up for you around the things of power and control. And so it's about new beginnings, about strengthening ourselves. And sometimes with this process, we can feel somewhat vulnerable because things as we transform come to the fore that maybe we hadn't thought of before. And because it's Scorpionic energy and Pluto energy, it's very, very deep things. So this could be a time when you're really looking at a whole range of things that you need to look at, and if you need to reassess and move forward as well. You know, in terms of Scorpio, this can be a really, you know, positive time, because it can also allow you to really look deeply into what's going on around you, and how you can really move forward and really master yourself, you know. And also look at anything that makes you feel maybe out of control in your world, you know, things like, you know, addictions and behaviors, etc., that are not really working for you, and that maybe we need to look at differently as well. And we could be feeling a little bit impulsive here, but at the same time, it's also a time to really think deeply about where we're going next. And we can also make really big, important changes. So we need to, you know, we need to look at our flaws and different things starting, and we can need to move into a new chapter of our lives as well. So this is really, really key. And so this eclipse is very close to the nodes, especially the south node, which is karma and things that we're releasing. So we could be moving, you know, we could be watching for things and letting go of things that have been a bit of a crutch for us, that have we've held on to, ideas and thoughts, etc., that maybe have not been the most positive things. And there's going to be quite a lot of change, and this will probably happen over the next 3 to 6 months. So it's not going to be a quick fix. So it's a very powerful time as well. On the 28th, we have Jupiter re-entering Pisces. So basically, you know, this is a time when you're starting to feel very, very expansive in that Pisces energy. And it lets you know some of the things that you might be ready to release, and that things that have come to an end. But at the same time, some of the issues sometimes with the Pisces energy is things are not always clear for us. And at this point, we really, really have to trust our deep knowing and our intuition in terms of what we really need to release and let go of, and where we need to expand to next. And this is a time when there could be a lot of divine messages, a lot of downloads, a lot of information coming through. A really good time to meditate and really start to reflect on where is it that I want to expand to and where do I want to move next. And that, you know, that could be really important, particularly if you're wanting to manifest something important in your world, you know. This can be a really positive time, and it's all about divine timing. So on October 30, Mars goes retrograde into Gemini until January 12th, 2023. Now, Mars is in Gemini. I've done a video on this until March of next year. So this is a really long transit for Mars in Gemini. And it's basically starting to look at, you know, we need to look at being, you know, Mars is very focused, very one-pointed, but Gemini likes to sometimes look at the duality of things, you know, black versus white, good versus evil, all those sorts of things, you know. So it's wanting us to try and bring those things into balance and look at, you know, communicating, you know, looking at the words we're using. What am I communicating? How am I communicating? And we need to look at what we're creating, you know. So because it's also it's retrograde, so it's a time to reflect on what we're saying, what we're doing. You know, words have power, and actually making sure that we're looking at what motivates and what we do and how we say things as well to people. And it's a time of learning and trust and self-realization as well. So this can be a very powerful time, a very positive time as well. But we need to ask ourselves at this time, you know, really important questions like, who am I serving and how can I serve? And once we ask ourselves those questions and we really know who we are and what we're about, this is really, really important as well. So I hope that helps you. It's a jam-packed month with a lot going on. So be kind to yourself, take care, and bye for now.